Today I really wanted to share with you and explore together, exploring the topic about love and gratitude. I know it's quite a topic that interests many people because many people are always trying to understand love. Or trying to get love, or trying to make it right, or trying to receive the love. And we see a lot. We see a lot of maybe efforts, maybe searching, maybe trying to receive that which we long for, and love has many levels, many layers, many dimensions to it. So today I would like to share a few words about love and how this love can be seen from us, and how we perceive love according to our state of consciousness, according to our life experience that we have experienced about love. And also, since gratitude is one of the qualities of love, then we will also explore and to get more in touch with gratitude. Because gratitude is a very beautiful quality that once we start implementing gratitude, we will see ourselves, how our heart starts to respond and starts to really open up to the vibration of love. And how it is important for us to remind ourselves to be grateful for everything that is unfolding in our life. And gratitude, of course, it can be a mindset. It's where usually it starts from, but a more authentic way is to really integrate that into your open heart, so you can truly live from gratitude and not setting a mindset, an intention of gratitude, which is very different. So this is what we can discuss today. And as we discuss, I invite your open hearts, I invite your open mind, and also I invite your mind and your heart to connect. Because if you hear me from a place of understanding, can be quite limited. But if you can connect the understanding with the experience of your own heart and love and gratitude, then it can be experienced much more profoundly, and whatever we are bringing into our sacred space can be, let's say, reflected upon, received, and even reviewing your life, reviewing where you're at, according to the vibration of love, according to the integration and living from a place of gratitude. So it's really a topic that touches every one of us. And it's important that you connect your mind with your heart. You can also do this with your breath, consciously uniting the mind and the heart. You could also drop the mind down into the heart. That also works for you to sync the mind and heart as one. So, what is love? What is this love? And most of the time, all of us has first experienced so-called love from the first imprint, from when we were born. And this imprint is the first masculine figure and the first feminine figure you have witnessed in front of your eyes and in your experience. That means if you were brought up by your mother and father, then it would be them, of which you have an imprint of what love means to you. Or if maybe you were brought up by your grandmother, for example, or even brought up by step-parents, stepmother, stepfather, whomever you've seen in your early childhood, that is the imprint, the first imprint of that form of expression of love. Now think of that, feel into that, reflect into that, how impactful this is from being in the womb of the mother until you were born, mainly up to the 5th and even 5th to 7th year, where you are still in this theta vibration. Theta vibration, this is why a child is so absorbent, because they're like a sponge. They receive all information through energy in the environment and through what they see with their eyes. It is very impactful. So, if you had enlightened parents, well, very good for you. And if you had parents whom themselves had a very difficult life, had a very challenging life, even bringing you up, the majority of our parents maybe have not had so much opportunity to work on themselves like we are doing right now. So, and the parents have downloaded all the trauma of their parents. Yes, or your grandparents, whatever they've been through, maybe even living in war zones, war times, can only imagine what they've been through, and carrying that through the genetics into the parents and from the parents to you. Okay, so here we are not, blaming anybody. It's how this huge cycle of the dark ages have been for these thousands of years. Okay, so it goes even further back into our ancestral line, and can only imagine what we have received in our genetic code. But coming back to this lifetime here and now, and speaking of this child that you were once upon a time, and having an imprint of what you have absorbed that love is, then growing up and experiencing you a lot of relationships, or maybe one relationship, some way or another you were deeply, deeply touched, or you were deeply moved by pain, by suffering in any way that could have formed for you. So what happens here is that here we are still speaking of an emotional love. Yes, this is an emotional love that is experienced, let's say, first to our family, and then to our teenage, first falling in love with someone at a young age, and as you start to grow up, it's the same emotional love that is expressed. You feel this certain emotional love. But within that emotional love, there is a lot of conditionings. We're not saying emotional love is bad. Yeah? In the eyes of consciousness, everything is welcomed. Everything is welcomed when you think about it. There's nothing wrong with emotional love. But emotional love is not as mature, you could say, as unconditional love. Yeah? Emotional love can be seen on this third dimensional reality. Of course, it's 4D because you can't hold it in your hand, but you can feel it. Though this emotional love, within it, this is why it's so conditioned, it has all the bundles of life experience that you have experienced and that you have projected, that you have believed, that you have assumed, that you have expected what love should look like. And that in itself, that bundle of life experience, full of disappointment, full of hurt, full of pain, full of frustration, it is all there within because it is coming uniquely from your experience, expecting something which is not so real, because it's made up by our conditionings. It's made up by all the distorted life experiences, but yet we kind of projected something onto that which is right, which is wrong, and how it should be and how it shouldn't be. So we gave it, or we tried to give this love a form, especially when it comes to relationships. We have tried to give it a form, how we think that love should be, but that love is distorted. It has been distorted through what we've experienced, through all the conditionings, and through all the memory of the pain, abandonment, yes, to all the neglect or whatever you have experienced, that has become also part in that bundle of emotional love. So that's why it equals to more pain and more suffering. Because from that emotional love, we can't truly be free. We can't truly feel loved. And we can't truly feel that we have capacity to love another. Because it is very limited, it is very conditioned, it is very distorted only because of the bundle it has within it. So most of you here, you already know this. You already have been processing, you already have been healing quite a lot. So you're not there, you've already done a lot of work. Yes, you've already have come closer to healing and making peace with the past. Yes, making peace with those grudges, the pains, the sufferings. And that's how your heart starts opening. If we hold all of that, our heart remains quite contracted and heavy and blocked. But once we start trusting, once we start believing in ourselves, once we start to have courage, And once we start to have courage to meet the pain, or meet that suffering, or meet whatever you have maybe ran away from, or neglected, or pushed away, now you have more strength to start owning all of that. It's really about owning, because the moment we blame it on somebody, the moment we judge somebody, that is a way of denial, or it's a way of running away from the truth of what we feel. But when we own the pain, when we own the discomfort, this is when the healing process begins. And the heart starts opening. The healing brings a lot of liberation, a lot of lightness, a lot of openness in our hearts. And it starts to give us access to a deeper, higher love. Yes, a deeper, higher love. This comes true because as we start releasing the heavy emotions, the most heavy baggage that we have carried up till now, we start feeling light. More light starts shining from within us. We feel light, we feel more happy without any reason. We feel more peaceful without any reason. We start transmuting and transcending these conditions, these ideas in our head, how love should look like. These images, how love should look like. Because we start to meet these emotions and clear them out from our field. So as more light shines through, as more space within us grows, more light shines through. And as part of this process, we start to open to a more unconditional love. So unconditional love means love without conditions. Because I know this word is becoming like a buzzword, all about unconditional love. But again, just to hear it from the mind of what that means, one would have no idea unless it is becoming experiential. And for it to become experiential, we must own that which we blamed or that which we projected, and make peace with it and heal it, if possible, with more kindness, with more love, with more softness, with more gentleness. Because we are all in this even process within ourselves to learn how to love ourselves, even by changing the negative thought into a positive thought. You are loving yourself. Even by listening to your body, to what it needs, you are loving yourself. It's an act of love. So an act of love is not just when you cuddle yourself or go for a massage. It goes even on your mental level. Many times our thoughts are very destructive. So if you are able to have that awareness to shift that destruction into unity, into love, kindness, gentleness, that within itself, it's an act of love, self-love. So also watching what these thoughts are saying, and if you're believing them, watch what you're believing. Watch what you believe about yourself or what you believe about others. Also watching what you believe about love. Because now, as we can shift into a a higher level of love, this unconditioned love, we come to realize that the true love is free. True love is free. Like true love has no labels. Like, can you just for a moment reflect on this? Because I'm sure there are labels somewhere what love means to you. Those are labels. What if for a moment we practice no labels, or else no meaning? It's a bit deeper this, but you can still practice it. What if there is no meaning behind love? How would that love be? What if there is no tags, no ideas, no form of judgment, whether good or bad? What if there is none of that, and there is only love? There's only love. Because love in its pure essence, it is free. There is nothing held or nothing locking love in any way. Love is a vibration. It's a very high vibration. It's what makes the universe to be. It's like universal love, unconditional love. Doesn't judge anything or require something. So the purity of love is free. I'm sure you have heard this as well. There's an expression saying that, if you love somebody, set them free. If you truly love, there is no form of attachments out of any insecurities, out of any fears. See, there is no, because that is not love. That is an attachment, or that is fear. But we have mixed it all up. We have mixed it up, and we have projected our conditionings into that emotional love. And plus that, we have created a whole idea. And that's why we suffer. Whenever you suffer, it is a reference point to realize that you have misidentified with something else, with some object which is actually not natural and not the essence of you. So the aliveness of the universe, or you could say life itself, speaks to us. It indicates to us that, hey, we have kind of lost our way, or else maybe you would have lost yourself into something out there to create some form of attachment to fulfill your desires or fears or insecurities. Well, this is, you could say, a big amount of relationships are based on this dependency. And of course, it is also beautiful to share life with someone. Yes, so we're not saying that, because from the essence core, we are dependent as human beings. We are dependent from the sun. We are dependent from the air. We are dependent of food that we eat. We are dependent of the gravity and the earth. So we are dependent human beings. Yes? But the dependency I'm speaking of is a conditioned dependency which underlying has a certain unresolved emotion or energy or psychological situation, unresolved issue. And this is something we all should look at, to reflect where we are, with this unconditional pure love, and simply checking in with ourselves to see what areas or emotions or energies or thoughts rise up in this moment. And it's okay. We are still on this planet, all of us, very slowly mastering the vibration of love. But it's a very big integration. It's a very big integration, and it's not just going to happen instantly. So we all know this. It's okay. There's nothing to feel shy about or shameful about. It's totally okay. We are all in this process together, and life always shows us. Life always brings up that next area within ourselves that requires more love and more kindness and more gentleness. That's how I see it. There's nothing wrong. It's just life presents us the next gift for us to flourish. So it's not something negative, as long as you are willing to see yourself as it is, as long as you are willing to own it and then to make peace with it bit by bit. This is how we liberate the conditions that has been implemented in love and opening up to more higher vibration of love, to more unconditional vibration of love. And then to start bringing this unconditional vibration more and more into our actions, into our thoughts, into our hearts, and into our social activities, into our work, into everything, into every sector of your life. Because once you become this open channel to that love, then love simply flourishes. So that's also another thing, because in its essence, one could say that love is. Love is. Can you feel that? Like love is. Can you feel the lightness of that? There's a certain lightness to it. Love already is. And now, are you ready? Are you open? Are you willing to allow that isness of love to flow through? Because this love that I'm now speaking of, you can't grasp it. You can't own it. You can't even hold it. So what we can do is clear out the junk, clear out what we've been holding from our past when life brings it. You clear that out, you transcend that, and you start seeing the availability of this isness of love, of this vibration of love to flow. It flows because it is energy, and energy always flows. So this is when we, open, when we process most of the heavy emotions and light shines in. Our higher self comes through. Then the opening of a bigger heart begins. It's a beginning process of tasting that inner heaven. It is a taste of heaven inside. And what happens within your heart, within this heaven, it can only be accessed, available, if love is your vibrational resonance. The moment a certain dependency comes in, like a stream, it comes in. The moment fear comes in, the moment conditionings come in, what happens? Your vibration drops. It's not that you have lost that unconditional love that's still in your background, but you have lost the access to it. Because in that moment you are resonating with fear, or in that moment you're resonating with maybe jealousy, or any insecurity. So your vibration drops according to what came next in your awareness. And it's fine if that comes in, as long as you're aware what has entered in your awareness. But if you in that moment are unconscious, you would believe those insecurities, you would believe that sadness and pain. Thus, you become that. You misidentify yourself as that. Yeah, can you understand this science of how we fluctuate through consciousness? So most of the time then what happens, we misidentify ourselves with separation. This is a good one. We misidentify ourselves as separate, alone, nobody loves me, or I'm looking for love and I can't find it situation. And that's a mindset of separation, division. And thus we try to grasp on something we have no access to because of what we are misidentifying with. So thus, it is so important for all of us to constantly transcend this very limited way of seeing love into a bigger love, into an unlimited love. And that, of course, requires our honesty, requires our willingness to meet those limitations, so that we can make peace with the limitations, liberate the limitations, and more of the love vibration will be available to you. So love vibration has no labels on it. It does not, it cannot have your ideas of love, and it cannot even have your past experiences of what that love looked like, because the isness of love, the vibration of unconditional love, in itself it says there is no ideas, no conditions. It's open. It's totally open. It's total openness. And with that total openness, there is total freedom. There's not even an identity. There's not even on a higher level or deeper level, there is not even an identity to that love. It is untouched. But yet it can be experienced. It can be experienced. And the more we become selfless in a way, the more we become devoted to love, the more we can wash away what actually blocks us from experiencing that free love. Why do we have to create rules in a way around love? Of course, this depends on one's capacity and realization, because this too can be very tricky and it can be very misinterpreted. I give you an example. The free love that I'm sharing with you is that isness of love, beyond duality of love. Thus, maybe you've heard around you like some hippie culture, which kind of, live as some kind of spiritual path in a way of this attitude, of free love. Maybe you're aware of that, some attitude of just being this free love. Sometimes, I've seen, quite so many times of, just maybe exploring many different partners, sometimes even hurting their own best friends, just because of the free love. I'm not speaking of that attitude. Yeah, this is a bit of like a misinterpretation of free love. The free love has no particular action, it has no particular action of this kind. It is very, in a way, it's very considerate and very kind, and any action that comes out of this love, it doesn't affect another, it doesn't ripple on another in a negative way, because this unconditioned love, it's a love that flows from source, and it's already within all of us, but we just have to maybe align to it more, invite it more into our life. And this is why gratitude is an amazing quality for that opening, and for you to be the channel of that love. Because gratitude really opens our heart, and it's a key to our heart opening. Also, I like to share this an example of having this, even the way we speak, like we just a reflection, right? I'm not saying to stop using this word, but just, we meet here to explore and reflect and observe, So, I'm not judging this word at all, but Just reflect a bit when we say, you know, I love you. I love you. This I love you. I mean, it's one of the most, you know, phrase that it's highly appreciated and adored by everyone. But yet, it implies that there is some kind of separation. Because there is I and there is you. And there is something in between. And there is with it, I feel the heaviness of it when I tune to the collective, because this I love you, underneath it has all the conditionings. I love you because you respect me and you treat me like this and you say this and you do that. You know, there's this underlying residue. But what if we start, you know, bringing as an exercise lightness and openness, and once we start dropping you, because I love you, you're saying it's already separate, but the true love is one. So there's already something not right here. You see, because love is one. And yet we're speaking of two separate entities. So as an exercise, let's drop you and feel, feel, because there's always a vibration with every word or sentence we say. And now feel into I love. I love. Do you feel it has a higher vibration already? I love. I really feel that. It's already much lighter. I love. And that's that. Yeah, it's already so much lighter. And also another step. What if we remove the I? Yeah, feel into love. 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 And that is the isness I'm speaking of. Love. Love is. Love is. And that's it. There's nothing to it. There's nothing to it. It's so open. It's so free in its nature. Love. And that's the openness of the nature of love itself. Love. And this love is ungraspable. You can't hold it. You can't keep it. You can't hide it. Because it is already. And this is the invitation to all of you here to kindle, rekindle this open love within you, to rekindle this lightness and loving vibration. And that in itself will set you free.